Well, joining me to discuss, fresh off of winning his own re-election bid against Republican Mark Moiser, is the Democratic senator from California, one of them, Alex Padilla. He is the first Latino elected to the United States Senate out of that state. Welcome to you, Senator, and congratulations. It's very good to see you. I want to get right into it, if we can. It is very clear that your victory is one of the victories that helped seal up the Senate majority for Democrats. But we're talking about a thin margin here. Democrats, once again, will be relying on reconciliation bills or, for folks at home, bills that can even bypass a filibuster to bolster their Democratic agenda. So what do you think folks in your caucus should prioritize both for the rest of this term and the next? We've heard a lot about the debt ceiling as of late.
Well, first of all, thank you, Symone, for your congratulations. Great to be with you. It is certainly a big day. We've been celebrating history being made in so many races across the country, including proudly my own and, of course, Catherine Cortez Masto's race being called last night. I know she was elated this morning when I talked to her. But this lame duck session to start, that's what the question is. There's a lot on the agenda. We still have to pass the National Defense Authorization Act. We have to pass an appropriations bill before December 15th and avoid a government shutdown. We have commitments to codify marriage equality into federal law, and we have not given hope on making progress on immigration reform, if nothing else, giving dreamers the stability that they need that the federal courts are threatening. So no shortage of work to do over the next couple of months with, of course, important eyes on Georgia. Even though we hit the magic number of 50 to retain majority control of the Senate, getting to 51 is even better. So we'll be putting our shoulder into that race as well, helping my colleague Raphael Warnock. And then, of course, in the new Congress, not sure what's going to happen on the House side, but we'll keep leaning in on federal judges, criminal justice reform, and so much more.
I want to ask about Georgia in a second, but I want to go back. So you are talking about marriage equality, again, codifying that into law. Do you think we're going to get that bill in the lame duck before in this Congress, or is that something we're looking forward to next Congress in January, February?
No, my understanding and my hope is that we're talking about this lame duck session literally the weeks and months ahead. There was a lot of negotiations, a lot of work being put in by a number of members, especially Senator Baldwin. She believes we have just about the number that we need, but it wasn't going to happen before the election. I guess some of our Republican colleagues were reticent about doing it prior to the November election. Well, clearly that's behind us now. And whether it's outgoing members or members that aren't going to be up for a while, I'm hoping to see the courage and the willingness to do what's right on the other side of the aisle to codify this into federal law, both for the sake of marriage equality, but also in response to the Dobbs decision, right? The same extreme Supreme Court action that took away the protections of Roe v. Wade, the way in which they did it now potentially threatens so many other rights, whether it's access to contraception, interracial marriage, marriage equality, and so much more. So I think it's been a big wake-up call for a lot of Americans. That's why we saw the turnout that we saw, and it's a reminder that the Senate can avoid a lot of this anxiety by passing into federal law and making those protections permanent.
There is a lot on the table, sir, and much chit-chat about Georgia, and I think you've sufficiently spoken to that here. I want to get your thoughts, though, about the House as well, because it seems as though that a lot of these House races that are unfolding in California could very well decide control of Congress. So how do you feel about the Democrats' odds in a number of the races there?
Look, I'm encouraged. We're not spiking the football right now. A lot of these races are close, just as we knew they would be. So for voters out there who may not be the every single election voters, this is a tremendous example of every election matters and every vote counts. A small handful of votes could have made a difference either way in these races. Sort of sorry, not sorry to the rest of the country that California takes a while. First of all, there's more voters in California than any other state in the nation. So there's just physically more ballots to count. For the folks who have questions about election, integrity, for example, yes, before that vote by mail ballot is counted, there's a signature verification, those sorts of things. So it's taken a little while, but we'd rather get it right than get it fast. But the overall trends are leaning towards Democrats, so those small margins, I think, are going to provide some surprise victories here.
I have heard elections in California described as election month. Hopefully we don't have to wait that long. Senator Alex Padilla, thank you very much for your time today, sir. All right, joining me now is our political panel. Annie Linsky is the national